It's 20 of 2. I slept 6.5 hours, and now I'm doing coffee dishes same time. This last past commercial was more of a New London City Pride thing, yeah, rather than anything boasting or promoting me being in any kind of military service. I'm still Navy family regardless anything. As Gramps was in the Navy, for 50 years, Congressional Medal of Honor and Oval Office Advisor, on call volunteers, suppose. They're being at the surrender of Japan and staying in the Navy for another 45 years. That's just how things went. And then living with him for 13 years, ages nothing to 13, he became a little bit more important than the fame through the dead, you know. Any kind of family member being a sound man assistant. Not that he just moves speakers, but even if he just moves speakers on stage, it's decent enough when he Jerry goes to him, after his first 2 weeks with the band and says, "So you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, and what can I do for you? Like how can I pay you for work?" And he says, "Well, I want a child. I want a boy. I want my boy to be taken care of. I want a secured human life. Life and with born in fame, whatever." He goes on for 3 years, from 1987 Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, up until Wake Up to Find Out, Uniondale, New York, Nassau Coliseum, 329.90. And then what I'd done from then, after being born, was live a life sort of like Sex and Candy as a rock star child, public figure, whatever. I was in my parents' arms until, you're supposed to be until you're 16, 18. But the world changed when I was almost 12. I was late into age 11, and the Pentagon was bombed, and the Manhattan Towers, and this and that. By the time I was an adult, my dad was working for the Department of Defense. His contracting, he'd do Pentagon computer security from home. He'd do local contracting securities, um, General Dynamics electric boat from home. And he started Bush Jr. in 2007. He was all the way out of the Grateful Dead, and all the way into our nation's defense, because he had word that the war, was home but cold, through this incumbent up and coming and things like that. Regardless of anything, the Drew Carlson story. Drew Carlson story. Lesser known member of the Grateful Dead's firstborn child seen here running from the press, or anything similar. Um, so he comes to town again, and I've been at the same city that he was in at the same time, which is nice. But how close did I get to him? How close did I get to his daughter? Not for assassination purposes, but shaking hands with Chelsea Clinton, shaking hands with Bush Pierce for what? That's 96 to 2007, 96 to 2007, 2008 maybe, May 2008. Sure, yeah, but nothing for the Hussein administration. And I recall one moment of family members gathered at Mohegan Sun, um, in the Sky Tower because he was gambling there. He wasn't the president then, but he was going to be soon, is what our suspicions were. Um, and then he was, which was cool. So we had some family members that shared some time gambling at the same resort, maybe at the same table in the same resort, staying in the same hotel while he was there, and we can communicate about, you know, I don't even remember. But was I, and not that I follow the news and know what he's doing politically, but I know he was a family friend back in '95 when great grandmother was still alive. She was born in Switzerland in 1908, and she worked in Manhattan for 40 or 50 years.